Welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your coach, Reynoso, here with my boy,
Soltero. What's up, y'all?
Today, we're actually going to do a little bit of a late reaction, but should be a fun one to the Club World Cup 2025 drawing. We've both made sure to not really investigate the draw so far, so this will all be a new surprise to the both of us. And it's exciting because it's the 21st edition of the FIFA Club World Cup, famously shifted over to an expanded format of 32 teams, with essentially the classic World Cup format here. 8 groups of 4, with the top 2 teams progressing through to the knockout stages up until the final, being hosted here in the United States next summer.
Yeah, the concept of this tournament's nuts. I mean, we're getting the best club teams from every single continent, confederation, including Oceania. So this is just a really fascinating tournament that FIFA's trying to host here. As you said, World Cup style, 32 club teams going to one host country to duke it out and see who can be the best. I love it. I love the idea of this. My only qualm, and I've said this before, is everybody going to try their best? You know, it's kind of weird. Like, this is the off season, and the off season's already very small for European clubs. So I wonder, but I think for the most part, especially since money's involved for the winner, I do think the big clubs will still try their best. I mean, like Madrid, for example, if a trophy's at stake, they're going to go for it. They're going for glory, the biggest club in the world. So I'm hoping my concerns will be quickly dissolved at the beginning of this tournament.
Yeah, I'm choosing to be optimistic about it because I think it's an idea that relies a lot on that aspect of it, is players buying into it. If players buy into this tournament and teams buy into it, we could have something incredible. We've never seen this in modern football, like a format of this structure. But it could definitely be dwindled down if teams and big clubs don't take it serious and we end up seeing some weird effort and performances from the bigger sides, because one thing is for certain, the smaller clubs will take this serious. And I think that's what makes this fun.
Exactly.
At the very least, this tournament is going to be very fun in that aspect. So let's look at the drawing to see what we had as the outcome of these groups. I'm excited, but we're going to get some crazy matchups. Let's start with Group A, where we have Palmeiras, FC Porto, Ahly, and Inter Miami getting drawn into the same group.
Dude, this is like a wet dream I had when I was like 14. Having these 4 teams in a singular group.
That's crazy.
This is so crazy. Wow, I mean, okay, Messi's going to play the best Egyptian club team and honestly one of the best African club teams ever in Ahly. And then you get Porto, who are, honestly, they're kind of mid right now. But then Palmeiras, you know, Brazilian royalty, you know, over the last like 5-6 years. This is going to be a really, really fun group. I mean, okay. Honestly, this looks tight. And I wonder how the other groups are gonna fare, but this looks really tight. I could see a version where any of these teams finish in top. Obviously, I'll give the onus a little bit on Porto to finish top of the group.
Is that who it is? Is that who it's on?
But barely.
Very barely.
Barely. I think Palmeiras obviously will be very close to Porto's level, and then Ahly are always prepared for these types of tournaments, man. So I will not be surprised if Ahly end up top of this group, and then you look at Inter Miami, considering the players that they have, specifically Lionel Messi, I mean, they could beat any of these teams.
Yeah, I like the questions that we might have answered here, because I've for a very long time have seen the Brazilian league as just slightly below the Portuguese league, because so often Brazilian teams will export players to Portugal specifically. But this will give us a good indication of where these teams stand. I mean, Porto and Palmeiras right now aren't the best teams in Brazil. They're right in that second or third level. So I want to see who ends up being the best between those two sides. And then obviously the question of, you know, an MLS side against a Brazilian team. You never really get to see it because MLS sides have come short in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Now we get to see that in the FIFA Club World Cup, and that's an exciting matchup because I do think both teams will put out the strongest squads for that game specifically. And then there's Ahly, who always has something to say and always has something to prove. One of the most decorated clubs in all of football history. They're not going to come here and just, you know, put in a mid performance. I think they're going to try to show out and go for that first place spot as well.
Dude, no, honestly though,
I'm losing my breath.
Because if Inter Miami don't sharpen up for this tournament, they're finishing bottom of this group, bro. Ahly, I would say right now, are better than Miami. And if you're not watching Egyptian football, that may come as a surprise. But if you are watching it, it's no surprise at all. Ahly right now are better than Inter Miami. Miami just sold Diego Gomez, so maybe they can use that money and buy another really big talent. But yeah, Miami got to be careful here.
Yeah.
They really should not mess this up, but this will be very easy to mess up if they're not focused.
100%. Let's get predictions. Who do we have coming out in first and second? I actually have Palmeiras in first and Porto second.
That's exactly what I have as well. But I think Ahly will be right there. Miami can too, but I think Miami is the weakest team out of these four.
Unless the refs help them out a little bit. You never know, man. We're at home. Messi Magic. Let's do this thing.
You never know.
Let's go over to Group B, where we have your very own Atletico Madrid being drawn up against PSG. Okay, we've seen that matchup.
We've seen that.
Botafogo.
Okay.
And MLS Giants. Seattle Sounders FC, brother.
Interesting. This will be fun for Seattle fans, I think.
Oh, dude,
just because you get to see three very different styles of football. Seattle, a very conservative team. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, my first thoughts are this should be Atletico's group.
Should be.
This should be Atletico's group. I mean, I think we can. I mean, no disrespect. I think we can easily beat Botafogo if we just focus. We can definitely beat Seattle. I see Seattle as the definite worst team in this group. And then that PSG game will just be a wild card. We should be able to beat them or at least get a draw. But I just don't see any path, honestly, for Botafogo or Seattle to get out of this group. Just off the bat.
PSG's going to do enough. They're going to do enough. I think Botafogo is really the only team that has a chance here to surprise. I'm going to be excited to see that matchup. Botafogo, PSG. I'm going to be excited to see that matchup because you guys know how I feel about their performance in the Intercontinental Cup. I want to see them really show up for a match and see the best version of Botafogo. I think Pachuca exposed that, but will PSG do that? I'm curious to see because right now they're in a little bit of a crisis mode as they're trying to sell off players. They don't like the way their season is going at the moment. How will they look months from now? That's my biggest question for PSG. But at the moment, I think that's the biggest matchup to look for. PSG, Botafogo. Outside of that, it should be Atletico Madrid, and it's who I have winning this group. Moving on over to Group C, we have Germany's Bayern Munich, New Zealand's Auckland City,
Hell yeah.
Boca Juniors from Argentina, and then Portugal's Benfica in the same group. I'm loving it so far, man.
I'm loving this. I'm going to be watching every second of the Auckland's games, man. This is crazy. The fact, because usually when we see Auckland City, they're scrapping against Asian teams or African teams. Very rarely do they get the chance to play South American or European opposition. We've seen it once before, like back in 2014, I think, when they bested or got close to beating San Lorenzo. I don't fully remember, but it's very rare. But we're gonna see it right now. Boca Juniors, Bayern Munich, Benfica. I mean, these are heavy hitters for the New Zealanders, man. Yeah. So that's gonna be so fun to watch. I'm just gonna be praying for him, man. I'm gonna be praying
Auckland's
for
gonna need prayers. I'm excited once again at the prospect of South America versus Portugal specifically. This time we get Argentina going up against Portugal's Benfica. Problem is Boca hasn't been great as of late, man. They have Palmeiras at the very least was competing for the title until the very last day. Boca was not even competing for the Argentine title or in Copa Libertadores either. It's been a bad few months for Boca, basically ever since they appeared in the Copa Libertadores final.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried for what might end up happening here for one of Argentina's biggest clubs. And if anything, this is an opportunity for Auckland City to take advantage.
No, seriously. I think that would be the tightest game, honestly. I'm with you. Boca Juniors just are nowhere near truly elite status, even from South American standards. At the very least, they will show up competitively. You know, Boca Juniors, Argentines never back down from a football fight.
Yep.
So I will expect that from them. But, I mean, the way I see this, I have Bayern up top, Benfica right behind them.
Same.
And then, honestly, Auckland might be able to try to get a draw against Boca. But we've already seen Bayern Benfica in the Champions League this year. And Bayern, you know, Benfica tried, but Bayern were definitely the better team.
Easily, too. I got Boca, obviously, in third. They play against Auckland City in Nashville. And the Argentine influence is going to be here in the States, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're actually playing a game. Yeah, their game against Benfica. It's at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami.
Oh, come on.
But I think Boca's going to have the fans behind them specifically, so that might actually be really cool to see. And will play a big role here in potentially getting that second seed. But in terms of talent and what we've seen on paper, Benfica should be the team to get second place. But we never know. We never know how serious they'll take this tournament. So Group D, we have Brazilian side Flamengo, Tunisian side Esperance, English side Chelsea, and Mexican team, your fellow Mexican team,
Hello,
Leon.
Okay, this is a crazy group.
Weird.
This one's really weird, bro. Chelsea is leagues and bounds above every single team in this group. This should be completely, there is zero problem. And I could see Flamengo and Esperance. I see them as neck and neck. I haven't seen Esperance play in over a year, but the last time I did see them play, they're a very complete team. Very similar to Ahly, where they have a very good midfield, an incredibly impressive defense, and a decent offense. And from Flamengo, honestly, you could probably say the same thing. They have very good players in certain areas of the pitch, but definitely incomplete from being like a very elite team. So honestly, I see second place wide open for either Flamengo or Esperance. I think this is going to be tough for Leon.
Leon's getting last year.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Honestly, surprised they're even here, but it's because of that victory they had in the CONCACAF Champions League just last year where they pulled off the incredible. And so, yes, they get rewarded with the spot here, but is it a reward when you're going to get absolutely battered, in my opinion? It's going to be tough for Leon fans. I'm saying it right now, man. That's my prediction. I think it's going to get very, very tough because Chelsea is going to top this group. Does Flamengo find a way to compete against Chelsea here?
I mean, compete, sure, but
I think prime Flamengo maybe, but this team right now is nowhere near the same level as they used to be. They got exposed by Peñarol in the Copa Libertadores, and Chelsea is basically Peñarol times 5, dude. It's just a firepower team with so much offense, a great defense, and loads of talent that even if they rest their best players, they should still win this group. So Chelsea in first. Excited to see the Flamengo Esperance matchup. Also a little scared of what these Esperance players would look like playing in the States. We've seen it happen before. I don't know, man. I get a little worried about the big stage and the bright lights for Esperance specifically. That's why I think Flamengo will find a way to get second place in this group.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna say Esperance gets second place.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Chelsea, Esperance. But yeah, I mean, I could easily see Flamengo in second. And just final thoughts on Leon. It's just been so bad for like 4 straight years, man. Ever since 2020 COVID title, Leon have just really struggled. You know, we really struggled. So, I mean, I just don't really expect much from us. We've had a really bad apertura. We're trying to we get new players every single semester. They never work out. Leon are just in a low-key a crisis right now.
Is America here?
I actually don't know. I haven't looked at the teams that got through. Have America won a CONCACAF?
I don't think they have.
So
I don't think they. I think it would be Pachuca though, right?
Yeah,
Pachuca's in here.
Pachuca.
Monterrey's gonna be in here. Leon, and then did Chivas get in somehow or some bullshit?
Right? Didn't?
We're about to find out. Bro.
I don't fully remember.
But I would want America given their 3-time league winning side. All right, let's go to Group B. We have Argentine side River Plate matched up with Urawa Red Diamonds, the 2023 AFC champions from Japan, Monterrey from Mexico, and then big name here, Inter Milan from Italy.
Dang. Yeah. I mean, we've seen Inter play all season long in Serie A and in Champions League. I think they will definitely handle this group no matter what. But the battle for second, I think, is going to be really fun here. I obviously, River Plate, kind of similar to Boca Juniors, have definitely taken a dip over the last, let's say, 18 months. And I think that just equalizes the matchup against both Urawa and Monterrey. We saw Monterrey literally just in the Mexican League final. They have some really good players. If Ocampos is healthy, you have Oliver Torres, Sergio Canales. I think Monterrey have a good group that can definitely beat a weak River Plate side. And for Urawa, I mean, they played good football. We saw them last year in the AFC Champions League disappoint, honestly. They were not good, but they can still compete. They still play good football. I would actually say Urawa get last in this group. I think Monterrey could do something here. I think they can do something.
And they're doing something. They're getting second. They're getting second. No, I think Monterrey can expose his River Plate side, bro. I think they can. I do wish Monterrey offered a little bit more after what I saw in the final. I think there's a limitation with this team, but I mean, I think America is better than River Plate, if I'm being honest. So, Monterrey put in a good matchup against them. I think Monterrey can expose this River Plate side. It's going to be a fun matchup, bro. That game specifically, I need to see where it's happening because that's going to have a bunch of Mexicans and Argentines in attendance at the Rose Bowl, bro.
Damn.
At the Rose. That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a good game. I think that might be one of the funnest games to watch for in the first round of matches. So I have Monterrey coming through on this one and getting the result, but it's going to be a freaking battle for second place.
Yeah.
Because, you never know. River Plate could defeat Urawa and Monterrey could disappoint against Urawa and get points there. Exactly. It's going to be a tight one. But for sure, Inter Milan is topping this group with their fucking C or D team, bro, if they wanted to.
Honestly, bro. This is easily Inter's, and then I'm with you. Let's go Monterrey.
Let's go Monterrey on this one. Finally, a Mexican team going through so far based based off of our predictions. Group F, we have Brazilian side Fluminense, who won the Copa Libertadores last year.
Fun.
Borussia Dortmund from Germany. Ulsan Hyundai from South Korea. And then Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa. This one's crazy.
Damn.
This is crazy matchups. I can't believe I just said all these names in the same sentence, bro.
This one's interesting. Ulsan are kind of like Urawa. I think they lack a lot offensively, but their midfield and defense is very good. Mm-hmm. So they can match up, honestly, I'd say, pretty well against both Fluminense and definitely against Mamelodi. I have not seen the Sundowns play in over 2 years. So that's going to be an interesting one. I'll have to do some homework on them. Last time I saw them play, they were all right. You know, I'd say Esperance is better than them. Ahly is definitely better than them. So out of all the African teams, I would say Mamelodi is probably going to disappoint here for sure. Fluminense.
Ay.
I mean, they've lost a couple players. Obviously, they've lost a lot of form, but they did survive relegation this year, where it was a little scarier earlier into the year. They actually ended decently. I mean, they made, I think, a deeper run in the Copa Libertadores than many people had them making. I say this is Dortmund's for sure, but honestly, if Fluminense aren't on it, they're going to find themselves in a tight battle for second place.
Ulsan has to be the team, I think, in contention of maybe getting that second place spot. I don't know. I haven't seen Ulsan do anything that notable this year so far in the AFC Champions League, so I'm not too weary of them. I'm going to go with Fluminense because they do have this aspect of stepping up in these type of tournaments rather than the league level. They've been disappointing, but they went farther than I thought in the Copa Lib, and they played a competitive game against the ultimate championship runner-ups in Atletico Mineiro. So I have Fluminense getting second, but I'm not very excited about this group, if I'm being honest. I think the level's pretty low beyond Dortmund.
Yeah, there's just a lot of inconsistency with Fluminense, and that's what makes them disappointing. But I'm with you. I do think it'll be Dortmund and then Fluminense underneath.
Group G, we have Manchester City. Big name here. Wydad Casablanca from Morocco. Ahly coming through here. And then Italian side Juventus to shape out Group G. Two big names in Manchester City and Juventus in this one.
For real, man. I mean,
that's going to define it then.
This is going to be interesting because obviously City are in absolute shambles.
Right now.
They're in absolute shambles. I have no idea what's going to happen with City over the next couple of months. Does Pep leave, which is a crazy sentence. Apparently Erling Haaland, there's rumors he wants out at the end of the season. There's a lot of unknown right now with Manchester City, so I hate even putting any sort of prediction to their name. But obviously, their players are better than Ahly and Wydad, so they will get out of this group. And kind of similar to Juventus, it depends on how their season ends. Funnily enough, Juve are still undefeated in Serie A.
Still, bro.
Still. I think they have like 8 draws or some shit like that. Yeah. But that's a sign of a very disciplined team. Juve could definitely top this group if City are still their undisciplined selves. It'll be City or Juve, 1 or 2 for sure. I haven't really been impressed with Wydad the last 2 seasons. Ahly have been going through it. They've been going through it this fall. They fired Palermo, the coach who took them to absolute glory last year. He's gone. The team's just not firing the way that they were. Rahimi just isn't as effective, but it's not even really his fault. The midfield's not finding him the way that they once did. Ahly, kind of like City, honestly, are in absolute shambles themselves. So this is a weird group. It will be City or Juve getting out, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a question just who's in a better state 6 months from now. It's a long time. Transfer moves could be made in the winter for Manchester City. Improvements can be made. Changes can be made. I have Manchester City topping the group. I think they'll be a better version of themselves come June, July than what they are right now. And Juventus, despite getting the result against Manchester City in the Champions League recently, I think will end up being in second because they are the second best team in this group, in my opinion. Ahly, if they were on fire the way they were coming off of that AFC Champions League victory last year or earlier this year, then I would maybe be more interested in this group. But with how far their form has dipped and how bad they're doing right now in the AFC Champions League, I think it's over for both them and Wydad Casablanca, unfortunately.
Yep.
Last group that we have here is Group H with the glorious Real Madrid, Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia, Pachuca, Intercontinental Cup runners-up, and then Austrian side Red Bull Salzburg finding a way here.
Dang, we're going to get a Pachuca Madrid rematch?
Yeah, bro, I guess
within 12 months.
Yeah.
That is rare.
I guess so. At home, though.
That's crazy, bro. Hey, true. Where there'll be a lot more Pachuca fans.
They'll be in Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium.
I'll take that, man. That's actually hilarious.
That's crazy.
All right.
And then Al Hilal, Real Madrid, and then Austrian side Red Bull Salzburg. How did they get into this? UEFA 4-year ranking.
What?
UEFA 4-year ranking. I think that's just based off of,
club ranking.
Did they just win the title domestically 4 years in a row?
Oh, come on. That's how they got in?
Come on, man.
Bro.
Come on, man.
What about the Europa League winners?
Yeah.
Why didn't they get precedence?
That's crazy.
That's weird, man.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, man. When you could have teams like Liverpool, when you could have teams like Arsenal in this tournament instead coming to the U.S. and competing in the summer, you put in Red Bull Salzburg. I thought if FIFA was money-oriented, they would at least consider that. What happened here, bro? How did Red Bull Salzburg sneak in, man?
That's funny. I guess it's actually better for the weaker teams because it equalizes the playing field, honestly. Because, if Liverpool and Arsenal and all those teams were here, that'd be crazy, bro.
That's true.
But, okay. Unfortunately, kind of similar to Al Hilal just dropped over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I just think Salzburg will take advantage of that. Or maybe Pachuca. If Pachuca play the way they did in this intercontinental tournament and maybe they gain a couple of pieces over the next 7-8 months, I actually could see Pachuca fighting for that second spot. Obviously, this will be Madrid's group.
It's Madrid's group for sure. I'm interested to see Al Hilal specifically. They have big names, they have big players, and they're going to keep spending more money 6 months from now. I'm interested to see what else they can acquire. Pachuca. How could I ever doubt you, man, after what I just saw? RB Salzburg's presence makes this really interesting, though, because it's a European team, and I think it does level the playing field. It gives Pachuca and Al Hilal a chance to get through in second.
It does.
Could they defeat Pachuca? Could they defeat Al Hilal? I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing Red Bull Salzburg coming to the U.S. and defeating Al Hilal or Pachuca. So I have Al Hilal or Pachuca coming through here. Man, Al Hilal has disappointed me a lot recently, man. They really have. So you know what? In honor of what I see Pachuca doing in the Intercontinental Cup, I'm going to go with them getting second place here.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think this second place spot is wide open. I won't be surprised if either team gets it. I'm going Salzburg, though.
Salzburg, yeah.
I think Salzburg, the way they've played over the last 2 seasons, it's not spectacular, but they always compete. And they're competing against Europe's best. But again, Al Hilal and Pachuca are good themselves. I won't be surprised if they get in as well.
What a crazy, convoluted tournament that we have waiting for us here in the States. It'll be fun to attend games. It'll be fun to talk to people about these games.
You know what, though?
What's up?
No games in Texas.
None, huh?
0.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Interesting.
So I'm not going to see any games.
Yeah, there's no point. There's no point.
I mean, unless we get a free, someone buys us plane tickets, hotel, and the soccer games, bro. It sucks because I was actually excited. I was like, you know what? Let me get into this tournament. I was like, all right, what games are going to be in Dallas, Houston? Maybe I'm in Austin. And then I look at the venues. No, none. 0 Texas stadiums.
It must be some way to make up for other stadiums not getting World Cup venues or something. Is that what's going on here? We'll just do live streams. We'll live stream it up. We'll entertain the folks post-game, and we'll put on a freaking show this summer for the Club World Cup 2025. But that is pretty disappointing. It is pretty disappointing. So, folks, let us know. What are your thoughts on this tournament? What are your thoughts on the group draw that we've seen so far? And if you have a team in this tournament, let us know what you think about where they landed at the 2025 Club World Cup.